Well, welcome to the midpoint of the 12 Days of Copilot. I'm Tracy Ottenstrayer, your MC for today. So if I haven't met you yet, I'm the Stone Ridge lead consultant here on Copilot, working closely with our clients to get the most out of our AI in business. So if you haven't heard, we have a fantastic feature this year. It's a charity spotlight each week of the 12 Days of Copilot, all 3 weeks. So for each of you present, we will donate $5 to this charity. This week donation is Feeding America. And so far we have raised $2,000 and we are only at the midpoint. So we're very excited about that. And thank you for attending. So today we are hearing from our very own, the OG, Eric Newell. I'll let him introduce himself shortly to talk about one of his favorite topics of Copilot, one of the best features of Copilot. And Eric and I will be in the chat, and we'll come back at the end to close out with today's winner. We have a prize every session as well for one of you. So let's go ahead and unwrap today's Copilot tip.
Hey everyone, welcome to day 6 of our 12 days of Copilot. And today we're going to be talking about a notebook full of presents. So today is going to be our dive into Copilot notebooks and learning a little bit more about them. I hope after this session you'll have an appreciation for what they can do and you'll start to use them yourself. So what we'll cover in today's quick session is what are Copilot notebooks, what type of content do they store, how do you search that content, how I've been using them, and then a little bit about what's coming in the future, because there's one very key feature I think that will make it far more usable coming in the very near future. So for those of you who haven't heard from me before, I'm Eric Newell. I am the CEO and co-founder of Stone Ridge Software, and a big technology advocate. So I love when these new technologies come out, love to have a chance to play around with them a little bit more. And I've definitely jumped into Copilot notebooks with both feet here over the past, most of the year now I've been using it. And so I've got quite a bit of content in there now. So let's learn a few things about it. So first off, what are Copilot notebooks? So Copilot notebooks, they're a feature that's part of Microsoft 365 Copilot. So if you have seen this window over here where you can do a new chat or you can ask questions of Copilot, you can access some of the agents in this Copilot view as well too. So researcher, which is probably my favorite one. I've got a couple agents that we've built internally as well available as there. And at the bottom of the left-hand navigation, you have an area called notebooks or all notebooks. And that's where you can store these various different notebooks. You can choose a notebook for any topic that you want and then store information there as well. But overall, it's an AI-powered workspace in Microsoft 365 that allows you to centralize files, chats, notes, links into a single notebook, allowing you to search that, generate content from that notebook, and create drafts efficiently. At the simplest of terms, it's really just kind of replaced OneNote for me. OneNote I've been using for 20 years or however long it's been out. And now Copilot notebooks are just a smarter way to be able to organize your information. So that's what I think of them. So what can you put in your notebook? You can actually put a lot of different types of files in there. So you can put a Word document in there, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, PDF files, and then you can also put your OneNote pages in there as well too. And then when you are creating files within Copilot notebooks, you're creating what they call a page in there, but that is a page or a Microsoft, which can have a Microsoft Loop capability into it. So for those of you who haven't heard of Microsoft Loop before, it's basically a section of content that can be copied into other Microsoft Office documents. So you can take a little section of text that you've written, you can share it with someone else in maybe an email or a Word document or a PowerPoint. And then when people edit it, it gets edited everywhere. And so it's like an active component that can be moved around to different places. So when you write something in Copilot Notebooks, it is available to be a loop file. So what I've done with a lot of the notes that I've written then, because even sometimes I write them as I'm drafting emails to the company, I will write that in a loop file. I will send it around to someone for feedback. And if I use a loop file, if they make changes to the document, it changes my version of it. So I don't have to go back and copy it into my version or update OneNote with their feedback. It's all active and able to be edited by other people as well, too. So just putting your notes in there is going to give you that ability to have it be a multiplayer type of environment, which is quite cool. And with all these things that go into the notebook can then be read by the chat or by the search experience in here. So PDF files, PowerPoint files, Excel files, those are the ones that I commonly put in there as I migrate my content over from OneNote to Copilot Notebooks. I've made references to a number of OneNote documents in there too. And then eventually I'll move them into a page in the Copilot Notebook as well. But those are the types of files you can store in there, and it's really helpful to be able to put all that content in one place. Like in OneNote, you could embed a spreadsheet, but it wasn't always the best experience. Here you can put all these different types of files in one place and make them searchable. So searching through your notebook is a really powerful way of creating content and being able to figure out being able to use this content for lots of different things. So you can isolate the search of your content to just what's in your notebook. So think of it as like taking a large language model and pointing it at a select amount of content. That's really what you're doing with a Copilot notebook. So I'm actually at the Microsoft Convergence Conference down in Miami, and we have a partner pre-day, and so I put together some notes on what was happening on that partner pre-day, and then I asked to my Copilot notebook, what are some of the things that are happening on that day? And it summarized the events of the day for me. So that's just one example of what you can use. I've also used it for financial. We do like a monthly update on each of our different dynamics practices, and I look at the financial results from those PDF files that I post in there and give me some trends that it's seeing from them. So that's another way you can use it. I use it for just repositories of like names and information when I go to different events as well too. Like who are my clients that are coming to this community summit, for example? What do I need to know about them in terms of what projects we're doing for them? So I put that into a notebook, and then I can just search that and stay up to date. And so when a client asks me a question, I know what's going on in their world. So those are some great ways you can take advantage of it. And then here's a little bit about how I use them. So I have a Copilot notebook for each of my direct reports and all of our practice leaders. And so I just store notes from conversations that I have with them in there. I also keep track of we use the predictive index tool. So there are like behavioral styles and information about them, like how they like to be managed, their best self review, like their goals, all of those types of things. I try to keep in one place. So as I'm thinking about like doing reviews for people, I have all that information in one place to help me write something that's going to be fitting for that person. And all the Microsoft events, so I have one notebook basically that stores all my notes from all the different events I go to with Microsoft, so I can quickly recall and summarize that for the rest of the team. As we're getting into budget season now, a copy of the budget file and all of the content that we prepare for the board related to the 2026 budget. So as financials come out next year, I can go back and look at them in relation to the budget we established. I've got one for all the Copilot agent ideas. So there I'm storing like a table of the different industries and what we're doing on those events as well. can share that as a loop so other people can update that. Events that we put on, so as I write speeches or keynotes or put slides together, I can put that together in one place as well. So just about anything that I used to do in OneNote, I like to do in Copilot Notebook, with the one exception of when I'm offline, I still want to use OneNote during those times. So that's a lot of what's in a Copilot Notebook today, and I get a ton of advantage out of it. There's some new features that are coming soon. One that actually just released was the ability to create a Word document or a PowerPoint from your search. So that's one of the options in the upper right now. You can choose create and have it create a Word document for you based on a search that you do within your notebook content. You'll be able to put notebook instructions in there. So if you've used agents before, you can kind of tell it how you want it to answer, the style that you want it to use, those types of things you can put in there to help you get more relevant results. You can actually create podcasts based on the information in your notebooks as well too. So some additional features there. But then the biggest one that's coming is the ability to share a notebook. So that hasn't been there yet. You can share a page, but you can't share a full notebook. So now as we are able to share a full notebook, one of the things we're going to do as a leadership team is store all of the content that we have for different meetings, so it's accessible to everybody, and they can kind of take those components of PowerPoints, or they can have a written summary of things that we've covered in meetings all in one place. So that's one of the things we'll be doing once that sharing capability is there. So I hope this is helpful, and thanks for joining our 12 days of Copilot, and I'll be back on day 12 to really summarize the event. And love the engagement that we've had in this series so far. And let me know if you have any questions about Copilot Notebooks.
Yeah, Eric, thank you. So it's always great to hear from you, especially when you're out at Convergence. That was great. I love always to hear how you're using new technology and something like notebooks to keep yourself organized. So fantastic. I have a notebook podcast tip. You mentioned podcasts. So podcast or notebooks are available on your phone app. So go ahead and set up a notebook and then take a walk or take it on your commute and listen to the contents of your notebook while you're on a walk or on a commute. So it's great. Notebooks are accessible inside the Copilot app on our phones, and they're a great tool that we can use right within our Copilot chat app as well.